We are now. We are now.
Excellent. Yay, we're in record. All right, ladies, so we'd like to welcome you to our Wednesday night Truth and Transformations Power Hour. This is Kick-Ass Womanly Wisdoms to Rock Your World. And with Tinya and Marsha, and we're super stoked that you guys are here to join us tonight. And I'm jumping in from an event I just finished up, and I'm actually in the car, but the cool thing is we can do this from everywhere. And you may even be listening in on podcast or watching the Zoom recording. So we are so grateful that each and every one of you are here with us. We are really excited with the way that this call is going. You know, Marsha and I started this with a vision in mind. We both have come together through some challenging stuff, helped each other through some tough spots. We both have done a lot of personal growth independently and together. And we just thought, you know what, we're not alone. There's a lot of people out there who could benefit and really, value the experience of really having a place to come, to learn, to listen, to laugh, have a few chuckles. We've already had a couple on the phone tonight. And just to be able to really spend some time navigating, some situations in your life, or learning how to have some tools in your toolbox to be able to work through some situations that you might be experiencing. So thank you to each and every one of you for dedicating the time that you've dedicated, and for, making the time out of your schedule to come on and listen in. We truly do, value your energy being here with us. So thank you very much. And just a couple of housekeeping notes. I know that some of you are pretty experienced with the Zoom, but if you are on the bottom left of your screen, you'll see that there's a microphone and there's a video. We're going to keep the microphones muted for now, but you can also close out your screen. So if you do need to, go to the loo or do something, you can close out your video and do what you need to do as far as that goes at any point in time. Later on in the call, when we have a question answer period, if you'd like to unmute yourself, that's where you can click on the microphone. There is a chat box at the bottom, so feel free, if you have any questions or points or thoughts, you can make them down there in the chat box. If there's one person on the call that you want to write a private note to, you can click on their name and you can actually write them a private note as well. So just to clear that up. And also, Marsha and I have both posted a video about something that we've decided to do to celebrate 100 people in our Truth and Transformations Power Hour Facebook group. We're so grateful, as we said, to all of you guys for jumping in that group. And so we decided, we want to do something as another give back. And so we've decided to give an hour's coaching to someone whose name we draw based on adding people to the group. So if you've got someone who you think might really love to be part of what we're doing, then you can add them to the group, welcome them to the Facebook group, Truth and Transformations Power Hour. And we're going to do a draw Sunday night. And we each are really excited about having an hour of coaching with one of you for doing that. So thanks for adding people to the group. Thanks for helping us get it to over 100 people now. I think we're almost at 130. Mm-hmm. And I also posted in the group there too that we are in podcast now. So the podcast is set up. So sometimes it's really tricky to make it on the call time or to even watch the Zoom. So you don't have to. You can actually go to the podcast. You can download the recording on your phone, so it's not going to use your data. And you can just listen whenever it works for you, which is really cool. So that's available in the group as well. And feel free to share that. Feel free to share that with your friends. So how many of you, let me take a breath for a second. How many of you ever feel like sometimes, maybe you're in the heat of a conversation, or, you're speaking to a friend and you're sharing, something that you've been dealing with, and what you're trying to say just isn't coming out right? I'm sure we can all we can all relate to that. Have you ever been in a situation where, you were just wanting to share an experience or maybe vent a little bit, but after you felt like crap because you realized how completely negative you were being? Or maybe you've got situations that just keep coming up in your life. You just keep having crap hit the fan. And it's like, why does this keep happening to me? I just don't understand why this is happening to me. Can any of you guys relate to that? Hands up, high fives. Awesome. I'm sure we can all relate, because I'm sure we've all experienced something like this, at some point. Plus, we probably know people around us that just seem to attract it all the time. So what Marsha's going to do today is she's going to touch on the power of our words, all right? The power of our language. And I'm really super excited, because this is one of my favorite topics. And, I know that we've both done a lot of work on transforming our language, which has really helped to transform our lives and other people's around us. So I hope you have a pen and paper ready. And just to introduce Marsha, I know many of you have gotten to know her through the course of the calls, and maybe you know her personally from before, and that's how you've gotten in touch with us for these calls. But Marsha is an incredible woman, wife, mother of two, teenage boys. And she has worked in the health and fitness industry for over like 25 years, like myself. She has a huge passion for helping people truly transform themselves from the inside out. And that's one of the other many things that we have in common. She has come through, we call it from chaos to clarity. She's come through a lot of different, challenging things in her life and experiences, which has really helped her grow and become the person that she is. And that is why, she has so many insights and is able to empower people to truly take themselves to the next level in their lives. So without going into more of her story, because I know she'll share a bit of that with you, I'd love to pass you over to my good friend, Marsha Vanwynsberghe. Take it away, Marsha.
Thank you, Tinya. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's wonderful. Thank you. First of all, there's dedication from somebody who's sitting in her car after an event, because I said, you know what, I can find somebody else to help out because we've got people who can help. She's like, no, I'm committed and we're going to make this, we're going to keep going consistently. So, I mean, honestly, this has been a brainchild of both of ours, and we've worked really hard on it. So thank you so much for making it a priority to be here. Appreciate it. Thank you. So big topic is our words, and we use them all day long. We use them constantly, so it affects and impacts all of us. It's a very simple way to describe it. Couple quick questions. Do you ever catch yourself using the words, I'll try, I should, I need, and I can't? Anybody can relate to those words? Do you frequently ask yourself, why me? Why me? Do you talk to yourself in a way that you would truly never let anyone else talk to you? There should be a lot of head nods on that one, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to that. Do you find yourself almost on a roller coaster of wanting to change your language, changing your belief systems? You hear those quotes all the time, that if you what you think, you believe, and you need to make those changes, but you just keep getting stuck in the same cycle again. And maybe you find yourself surrounded around people who are very negative, or who are frequently in a complaint mode. And whether that's work, whether that's friends, you really are the sum of the 5 people you spend your time with. So watch yourself when you are in that circle, because it can be really hard to step forward and change your language. So I can relate, because I'm going to admit right now, I am absolutely a work in progress. Absolutely. The reason I can talk on this is because this has been one of my biggest struggles, working through my language and working through my words. And as you do that, it's taken a long time, again, to get here. So many times in my life, because I've coached and I've worked with so many people, I could correct and make suggestions with other people's languages very easily. I'd catch it, I'd hear it, but myself, like just the way that I would speak to myself, or the way that I would say things, would just sometimes I sit there and go, this is crazy, because this is something that I would never let anybody talk to me that way. And so my words, I was stuck in victim words for a very long time. And I call a lot of these words victim words. And when you're stuck in victim mode, nothing changes. I absolutely guarantee you nothing changes. So watching those language words are really important. So I am improving every day. I am a work in progress, and I am a very real and honest person. So I am telling you this because you might catch me on my words tonight. It's something that I am continually working on. So we know our thoughts shape our entire world. They come from our own personal beliefs, and our words there are words that we continually say to ourselves repeatedly, day in, day out, all day long. There are thoughts that are with us when we go to sleep. There are thoughts when we wake up. Those are where our words are coming from. So it's time to learn how to change the way that you speak to yourself. Now, our language is very, very powerful in both a positive and a negative way. Remember that the most important person in the world is listening to how you are speaking, and that is you. And that is you. So you know you're listening, and you know that you are absorbing in everything that you're saying. So it's really important to make this a priority. Your words shape your beliefs. So your beliefs shape your habits. Your habits shape your actions that you do or do not take on a consistent basis. And that will predict your results. So I'm going to say that one more time, because we've heard this and I've said it and I've read it, but it's really important. So your words shape your beliefs. And your beliefs shape your habits. And your habits shape your actions that you do or do not do on a consistent basis. So I'm sure for most of you, there's been many times where you have tried to change your beliefs. You want to believe that you can achieve more. You want to believe that you can be successful, but you can't figure out where to get that from. And I'm saying that that is initiating and originating from where the words that you are using with yourself on a regular basis. That is what is shaping your beliefs. So where do your words and your beliefs come from? I mean, this is an awareness. This is not about putting blame. This is not about, this fault, this fault, this fault. This is about just an awareness of where does this come from? Did you come from a family full of, positive language, encouraging words, and inspiration? Did you come from a family that encouraged you to move forward and do anything that you wanted to achieve in your life? But maybe they also it wasn't realistic at sometimes. Like they didn't teach you how to go through the steps of doing that. It's just throwing that out there. Or did you always hear that, no, you can't do that? Or be realistic? Or that's not possible? Awareness and observation only. Nothing critical. We're not doing any of the blame right now. We're just going into some awareness. Some words and belief, they definitely come right back from childhood. They're habitual. Okay? Some work very well, and some are very limiting. What did you hear a lot when you were younger? So if you've got your pen and paper, and I can see some of you writing, you know what? If you could just write down one or two phrases that you either heard or remember from your childhood, or words or phrases that you use continually with yourself right now. Something you've caught yourself saying on a consistent basis. So just write them down. I just want you to write them down so that you can have something to reflect to and look back to. So did you happen to hear positive, encouraging words, or did you hear limiting and negative words? And then what words do you say to yourself? So whatever words you wrote down right there, I'll just give you a minute because some of you are still writing. You've written them down. Take a look at them. Read them. You don't have to share it. First gut instinct, how do you feel when you read them? Your feelings won't lie. They won't lie. So how do you feel when you read them? Do you feel energetic, optimistic, and that anything is possible? Or do your words make you feel small, stuck, and negative? Keep it really simple. Take a look at them, and I'm going to keep this super simple. You change the words that make you feel like crap, because I guarantee those are the ones that will never move you forward in life, ever. They're probably some of the ones you've used for the longest. They're probably some of the ones that you use most frequently. And they're the ones that have the big flashing red light right now on them saying, these are the ones that you need to change. See, it just said me. These are the ones that you must change. So why do we continue to use the certain words? You know not to use some of these words, right? You know that we hear it, whether it's through personal growth, development, whether it's podcasts, anything that you've ever done to try and grow yourself, there are certain words that you should and should not use, right? Words that you need to practice using on a regular basis. So why do we use them? I think it's really simple. I think it's that our ego uses them to keep us safe. It's part habit and it's part repetition. It's ingrained. It's something we've used or experienced right from childhood. But it comes down to our ego using those words to keep us safe. Because on some deep level, you don't truly believe that you can make a change in your life in that area, even if you're absolutely miserable with where you're at right now. Because the change is scary and change is unknown. And the one thing I can say is that change is truly the only constant in life. Change happens every single day, every day. It is not this big, scary monster. It is something that happens every single day. So this isn't true, okay? It's not true. You can change your thinking. You can change your words. You can set goals and achieve them. And you can start changing as of this phone call by making changes in the words that you have. So it's not true. You can change anything at any moment in time with consistent effort. So truly, if that is one of your beliefs, let it go, because it's false. It truly is false. And just, if it makes it feel easier, I'm giving you permission to let it go, because there's no need to hold on to something that's not working. To change this and to change our words is going to require getting into a little bit of subconscious thinking as opposed to just our subconscious brain, and not just our conscious brain. And let me give you a little bit of an analogy. There's a lot of ways that you can explain this. I can go buy seeds to plant in my garden. Okay, let's just say that I want to grow tomatoes. Okay, so say I want to grow tomatoes. So I can go get seeds. I can get great seeds, and I can put them in the ground, and I'm going to plant them, right? The little card says it needs sun in order for them to grow. So that's an external thing that it needs. So if I put that plant out there and it's going to get the sun, I'm going to assume it's going to grow. But there's a lot of other things that it needs. And I can give it really good soil, but that doesn't mean that the tomatoes are going to grow either. So what happens a lot below the surface is going to dictate how that is going to grow, whether it's a tomato, whether it's a flower, it doesn't matter what it is. But what I put into that soil is going to dictate what is going to grow. I can give it all the externals. I can put you in a great environment. I can give you good, positive people to be around. I can give you good experiences. But if the talk that's happening inside of your head is all negative, it's all critical, and you're hard on yourself, it doesn't matter if all of the environment and the externals are perfect, because I can't change that. Right? If I have a bad seed, it's not going to grow. If I don't put the right nutrients in the soil, it's not going to grow, or it's not going to grow into what it could be. So changing your subconscious mind, it requires a lot more work than your conscious. Okay? And eventually, as you make those changes, that then transfers into your first thought. Your conscious thoughts become more automatic. That's when you can make those changes. So in the beginning, it's really hard. And most people are trying to make those changes to the words, but you're not getting down to the habits that are going to make that stick. And then it gets too frustrating. So a lot of people just say, screw it, I can't fix this, I can't change it. And it's because they didn't have the right tools to make those changes. Okay? So changes in your subconscious brain can occur with such things as reading, podcasts, meditation, and affirmations. Now, we have a lot of great topics coming up with meditation and thoughts, so I don't want to cross too much into that. But today I'm going to cover the power of affirmations and how to change your words. We all hear about affirmations. I'm going to come to that in a little bit with some concrete ways of how to make those changes. So this is an interesting thought here. Every single word you speak or thought you think is an affirmation. Isn't that interesting? Because we tend to think of affirmations as something that we stand up and we say, and this is where we're going, and this is what we're doing, and it's positive and it's driven. But every single thing you say is an affirmation. Every single thing you say. That means that every positive and every negative is an affirmation. And how you speak to yourself, your self-talk, your internal dialogue that never, ever leaves your mouth is an affirmation. So that self-talk is critical. when you listen to inspirational speakers, for example, I'm going to refer to Tony Robbins because, and I'll tell my story shortly here, is that he refers to, it's really important that you change your state. And if you have never heard him speak on changing your state, I would encourage you to YouTube that and listen to it. Because he talks about the importance of, you can change your state in a second by what you do, whether it's energy, whether it's, walk, whatever it is, all the things that you can do to change your state. So if it's okay, I'll share a little bit about how this affected me at this time. For myself, there was a point in my life where my life was full of things that I never asked for. I'm sure that people can relate to that. I didn't plan on them. I didn't ask for them. I didn't expect it. Dealing with substance abuse with teens was wreaking havoc on our family life, our marriage, my job in all aspects. And because my job required me to be in a positive mindset, I was life coaching other people. I was changing other people's lives. So I had to go into work in a state, right? In a state that was positive and very strong in my convictions. And I was helping people move through those barriers in their life. But myself, I was way down here. I was super low. I was in a really horrible spot. So this gap, and I referred to this in one of my earlier calls, the gap of integrity was a mess. It was huge. So that takes a tremendous amount of energy to live life up here, but I wasn't in this mental space to be there. So I was like an actress, which was wasting a tremendous amount of energy every day until I eventually crashed, because you can't maintain that forever. And I knew that to change my state would require reading, to change my words and my thoughts would require reading and positive work. I couldn't even focus on a book to read. I had so many books. I got a ridiculously big library, but I couldn't read because I couldn't concentrate and I couldn't focus. So podcasts and YouTube videos became a godsend for me, because I could watch something for 10 minutes. I could watch something for 15 minutes. And I created little playlists on my YouTube, and I would play them over and over and over and over. I had affirmation videos on YouTube. Honestly, I'm not joking. Sometimes once an hour, sometimes twice an hour. Whatever I needed to do to shift my mindset is what I would do. So as soon as it felt like it was dipping and the energy was low and it was low, I had to bring it right back up again. And eventually I knew that I felt better when I was in this state. So I worked at finding a way to help keep myself in this state for longer. So that was a point in time regarding when it came to Facebook that I started really posting inspirational quotes. I post inspirational quotes every day, and I do that because it shifts my mindset right from the beginning. I write things from that perspective because it keeps my mindset in a different place. It is a work in progress, and it's a work that I choose to do every day. So I just wanted to share a little bit about that because it was something that I really had to live through in order to learn how to make some of those changes. And for you, it might be reading. For you, it might be podcasts. For you, it might be YouTube videos. Whatever it is, I guarantee you will find something that helps you to shift your thinking and to change your words and your language. And then you'll understand the power of those words. Thank you, Vicki. I appreciate that. When it comes to using affirmations, it's really important that you understand that you're speaking into the present moment. You are speaking into existence. It is something that you do it regularly, day, night, whenever you feel that mindset starting to shift. So nighttime meditations, gratitude, things that help you to clear your head and focus on changing your state. And it will come down to those words. When I am the most stressed and I am struggling, and I promise you it happens. It happens a lot. I find a very quiet place and I practice breathing. And sometimes all I can do is slow my mindset down. I can breathe and I just keep saying the words, thank you. I might not even know what I could say thank you for. Now, I'm not gonna touch too much into gratitudes because again, we're gonna go into that later. But I can tell you, at my lowest point, I actually took offense to the fact that people would say you need to say gratitudes. I'm like, what in the world could I be grateful for? This is not how my life was supposed to be. And it took work to realize that, you know what? Thank you. I have my health. Thank you. I have a house. Thank you. I have fresh air and sunshine today. They could be the smallest things, but it takes a lot of practice to shift that. And as I practice thank you, I learn to live in present tense. And when you learn to live in present tense, it's easier to change your language. It's easier to be aware of your language. And I'll tie that in a little bit later. So practicing affirmations to start and finish your day, you can write them on a sheet of paper. You can put them on your phone, on your mirror, around your house. Words that speak to you, they need to be in present tense. They must be in present tense, right? They have to be current, as in now. So I am strong. I am powerful. I am capable. That one speaks to me a lot because even when I feel I'm stuck, I just say, no, I'm capable of making the changes that I need to make. I am very capable of doing this. And that just changes my mindset. I am willing to learn and grow. I am willing to learn what is required of me to move forward. Now, I have an alarm on my phone. My phone is off right now, and I'm just going to show you, but I want to show you quickly that you can see it. So with my alarm on my phone, I have, and this is my phone. I have alarms set from 4:45, 5:16 a.m., 9 a.m., 1:33, 9:15. They are all set at different times. When I'm having an off day, I set the alarm. My morning alarm, the note that comes up, it says, wake up and say thank you. That's the first thing I see when I look at it. Wake up and say thank you. And if I don't feel like saying thank you, I keep reading it until I say thank you. It brings me present. And it says that every day I am happier, healthier, and wealthier than yesterday. I am abundant and fulfilled. That can mean anything. It can mean anything. Abundance is not just about money. My abundance is about having a life full of great people. It's about having, recognizing what I have in my life and feeling fulfilled. I have a low point in the afternoon at 3. And so typically then my alarm is set and it says that you are capable of anything you commit to and work for. And I set it and it'll go off and I look at it, I'm like, right, my mindset, shift that again. So creating those that speak to you, what I would encourage you to do is pick some low points in your day and just get into a practice, set an alarm, write what you want it to say and say it out loud. It's present tense, it's words that will help you to shift that. Schedule it in to practice or anytime you need your mindset. But I would strongly encourage you to start your day and end your day with present tense thinking, words, thank you, gratitudes, words and affirmations to help you to shift that mindset. As David would say, he always talks about your belief meter, and your belief meter is either here or it's here. What can you do to shift it? Changing your words is going to shift that. And it's your own belief meter in yourself. You are all capable of achieving anything that you want to achieve. It's shifting those words. Now, getting into some specific words. You cannot change anything until you are aware of it. So go back to the beginning where I asked you to write down, that 2 or 3 words or a phrase or 2. Until you are aware that you are using it on a regular basis, you can't change it. It won't change. So whether it's I can't, I won't, I should, I try, when you say them, change them in the moment. So when you say I can't, change it to I won't and see how it feels. So I can't do that right now or I won't do that right now. When you want to say I can't change it, it's what you're really saying is it's not a priority and see how that sits. Or say I choose not to and see how that feels. The word choice, and I will go back to it a few times. I cannot tell you, choose the word choice as much as possible. because it's an empowering word. It's a present tense word. It's a word that you are owning. You are choosing what words you are using. So if you say, I can't, change it to saying it's not a priority, see how it sits, or say, I choose not to, and see how that sits, and see how it feels. Your feelings aren't going to lie to you. They're going to tell you how that fits with you and how it sits with you. The words I will try is not a directional word. Okay? Try is an escape word. And I'm going to call it as it is. I honestly believe try is an escape word. You've already built your backdoor escape clause. Already. Try means you have no intention of doing. I think of even today how many times you might have used the word try. And when I catch myself saying it, I'm like, are you actually going to do it? Or is that just your way of saying you're not going to? You've built that escape clause. So try, there's no direction to it at all. There's no intention to it all. It has no meaning, and you've given yourself an out long before you've started. So that is not setting yourself up for success at all. To say you will try, again, means you never had an intention in the first place. So ask yourself at all those times, what do you mean when you say the word try? Stop saying, I wish, and start saying, I will. I will is present tense. I wish means that it's out in the stars, and you know what? I'm all for dreaming. I'm all for setting those goals, but I wish there's nothing there to ground it that it's ever going to happen. I will is very different. So from I wish to I will. Stop shoulding on yourself. Stop shoulding on yourself. The word should really needs to go because there's no intention in the word should. It's a negative reminder of what you haven't done. And I don't know about you, but that doesn't feel very good. So should is a negative reminder of everything that you have not done. There's nothing positive happening from that word. Stop using I need. You don't need anything. You truly don't need anything. What are you required to do? For example, if you want to get in shape, you can say things like, I need to run. I need to watch my eating. I need to weight train. But there's no plan in those words. There's no action in those words. Honestly, it's a blame word. Right? It comes across as a blame word, and it's a negative word, and it's stuck, and there's no actions tied to it. It's the exact same thing with nutrition. I need to eat better. I need to stop eating this. I need to do this. There's zero action in it, and it's like finger pointing over and over and over of all the times you tried to make a change and it never happened. Okay? So I would definitely get rid of the word need and substitute it with what's required for you to make the change. That's an ownership word again. It's present tense ownership word. Going back, use the word choose as much as possible because it creates ownership. And it will create clarity around all of your actions. No matter what your situation is, you always have a choice. You have a choice in how you react. You have a choice in how you respond. And you have a choice in what you do. Even if that choice is not something that you're ready to accept, you do have a choice. And it puts you back in the driver's seat again by using that word. It's a very empowering word. Here's my biggest one. Stop asking why. And stop asking why. Why is a victim word. It is a straight up victim word. And I have used it for so long it's not even funny. It was the biggest one for me because I was stuck in, it's not fair. I didn't ask for this. I didn't expect this. I didn't do anything wrong. And it was all victim, and it just kept me stuck. Call it out. Life happens to all of us. You know what? So many things we never planned on or asked for. And most of the time, it can take you to a different place. And I'm not saying that, sometimes things are really crappy when they happen, and they're not good, and it doesn't feel good, and it's a tough spot to work yourself through. But being a victim doesn't work either. It does not work. It keeps you exactly where you are. And remember, even if you don't want to be there, if you don't want to be in the spot you're in right now, and it feels like it's a miserable spot and you want to move, if you stay as a victim by asking the words why and asking the questions why all the time, you're never going to move. It's never going to change. I can guarantee nothing's going to happen there. You have to change it to the what's. What can I do? What will I do? What will I change? What will I do to respond? What are my values? What do I believe in? What do I take ownership for? What will I change? So every time you catch yourself with the whys will keep you stuck. They will keep you stuck. And that is 100% coming from experience. Did it for way too long. So I switched it to what will I do? And understand that means that at one point in my life, I virtually walked away from everything that I knew. I had no idea where I was going to live. I had no idea where I was going to go. But I knew that it was the right decision for me because I wasn't choosing to live that way anymore. Difficult time, stressful time, the best thing I ever did for myself. So take those words and take action with them and change them. And changing them will change what you believe you can achieve. So how do you change those words? I mean, that's a lot of words to change. And you might be looking at them and going, honestly, crap, I use them all the time. Because I did. I understand. So you have to increase awareness that you're using them in order to change them. So you have to catch yourself. There's a number of different tricks that you can do. You can put, I think it was T. Harv Eker's The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, the workshop, or the Millionaire Mindset workshop, where they use the elastic, and you put elastic on your wrist, and every time you catch yourself using one of those words, you just snap the elastic. It's got to be an awareness. It has to be a tactile awareness that you go, oh my gosh, how many times have I done this hour? All you need to do is increase that awareness. When you do that, it is not about, are you kidding me? Look at how bad you're doing with this. It's not. You get to the point where you almost laugh at yourself and go, wow, this is ridiculous. And I do. I will laugh at myself and go, seriously, Marsha, you think you're going to make a change? You talking like this? It's not going to happen. And let's change that. The other thing that I've had many clients do is, even if you just did it, sometimes depending on where you're at, you don't have to do it for very long. Go get a jar, get a roll of dimes, pennies, whatever it is. Or if you're really struggling, snap it so it hurts, Tinya. If you're really struggling with your words, then what I would encourage you to do is take that roll of dimes or whatever it is, and every time you use one of those words that you are trying to work on changing, see, I keep saying it, that you're working on changing, throw a coin in the jar, and you might be surprised in 1 hour how much went into the jar. It blew my mind the first time I did that. I'm like, wow. So that's how many times it is constantly happening. The more, whatever tricks you can do there, a short period of time, you will become aware of what you're using on a regular basis. The problem is that you're not saying it out loud. We're talking about the inner voice that you're not sharing with anyone else, right? The one that you wouldn't let anyone else talk to you that way. So we have to say those words out loud, and you have to break them down and slow it down. When you catch yourself saying something like, I can't, or I wish, or I should, honestly, stop and say it out loud right in the moment. Because you'll go back to your feelings. How does it feel to say those words? And I know I'm exaggerating, but I should, I can't, I'll try. There's just no energy tied to those words. And in fact, it's like a magnet that pulls you back down. So say them out loud, and you'll catch yourself and be able to make changes with those words in the moment, because you're going to increase your awareness to them. If you are still challenged with making those changes, I would encourage you to, even if you can, have a notebook nearby and write them out when you're saying them. Because you need to connect the dots that I'm thinking that way, I'm thinking that way, it's not making a change in my life. I need to make that change. I need to do whatever it is, whatever shift you have to make. So write it down, say it out loud. Honestly, have a sense of humor and laugh at yourself. I cannot tell you how many times a day I laugh at myself. Because I just think that is ridiculous. You're being ridiculous. You cannot talk to yourself like this and expect change to happen. It won't happen. So some days are easier than others. And that's okay. It's okay. It's not a fight. It's not a struggle. It's just accepting and recognizing that we all do that. What are your first thoughts in the morning when you wake up? And what are your last thoughts when you go to bed? We talked a little bit about affirmations there. Just think about it for a second. If you wake up in the morning and your very first thought is, oh my God, I'm exhausted and I hate my job. And I've done it. We've all done it. Where does your energy go from there? It becomes a big sigh of like, oh my God, I can't do this again today. Now you've made an uphill climb before you've even started. You're not even out of bed. And you've created an uphill climb for yourself. So you're going to catch yourself because you're still going to say those things. But in that moment, can you stop and just say thank you? Thank you that I woke up today. Thank you for what I have coming up today. I have even started practicing, and I know Tinya uses the same thing. Who can I serve today? Who can I help today? Who can I help shift today? Help me with the words so that I can help who needs help today. Who requires my help today? Thank you for giving me the tools to help someone today. My whole energy shifts in that moment. And you can feel the difference in the words and the energy. Making that shift will make a massive, absolute massive difference in your words and your energy, which will change your mindset. It'll change your attitude. It'll change your beliefs, and it will eventually change your actions. Going back to the alarms on my phone, I honestly, when I was in a really tough spot, sometimes that phone alarm went off every hour. And for some odd reason, I'd forget what it was going for. And I would go back to him like, right, I said that. I forgot I said that. And I was just in a funk. I was in a bad funk, and I required constant changes to make my mindset and my words shift. So anything that can anchor you back in those moments, to shift those words and to practice the words that you use with yourself. And you know what? If you have some really good friends that you spend some time with, and you know this is something you could both work on, create an agreement that if I catch you using those words, are you okay if I make a change in the spot? And vice versa. And vice versa. And Tinya and I have done that with each other, which is great because sometimes I just feel like I get a kick in the butt through the phone, which is exactly what I need. Right? So do that. I'm going to go into questions shortly, but some resources and quotes. There are so many on this, and I'm such a quote person that it was actually hard to narrow it down. It was very difficult to narrow it down. But these ones spoke to me. Your mind must arrive at your destination before your life does. Your mind has to go there before your life does. And I want you to, I want to share with you, if that's okay, and it's not a negative way, I just want you to understand that my life where we are at right now with our family is far from sunshine and rainbows, okay? It is far from it. So it is a constant work in progress to keep my mindset in that headspace. So I always think, no, my mind has to arrive there first. My mind has to arrive there first. This one I like, that if we truly understood the power of our thoughts, we would guard them more closely. If we understood the awesome power of our words, we would prefer silence to almost anything negative. In our thoughts and words, we create our own weaknesses and our own strengths. We create them. See, the thing is, again, if we create them, we can change them. They don't have power over you unless you give them power over you. So don't look at it and go, yep, done the same thing every day forever. Yes, I'll post them in the group, Karen. We've done the same thing forever. I've done the same thing forever and I can't change it. No, that means that because you created them, you can change them. Right? You can change them. And for every powerful, like if you truly understood the power of those negative thoughts, you would choose silence. You would choose silence. So we are truly creating the world that we are living in by the power of our words. And changing our words will shift our beliefs. And once you start to shift your beliefs, you're going to start to see massive shifts in your life. But it will really start with your words. Other books that, again, I had so many books that I used for this, but the book's The Secret, right? And Louise Hay, anything from Louise Hay, right? I Can Do It. Any kind of motivational cards. I have a motivational card deck. I have a couple ones, but I have one from Gabrielle Bernstein, that Miracles. And I pull them out whenever my brain is in a funk and it needs to shift. It's not a criticism. It's just an awareness that I need to make a shift. That's what it is. And YouTube, lots of stuff on YouTube. I'm a big Tony Robbins fan. When I am in a funk, there is really hardly anyone who can shift my funk like he can, honestly. It's just because it's that simple, he's that direct, and it's that good. So that speaks to me, but it's about changing your state. And change that state will change your words. So find something that works for you and recognize that you must change that on a regular basis. So I'm getting better. The word need still comes out, but I am getting better at that. But that takes up, so there's a lot of things that you can do, action items from there that you can do moving forward. And I wanted to we're going to wrap that up, and Tinya's going to come back on and see if you have any questions. Next week, we dive into habits. So the timing, again, is good. Tinya's going to speak on the power of habits and how you can use those habits to change your life and where you're at. So for right now, that wraps up everything I had on words, and I'm going to pass it back over to Tinya.
Woohoo! Awesome, Marsha.
Thank you.
Rock star. Yeah, give it up for Marsha, you guys. I think we all kind of had a few major ahas there and major takeaways.
Awesome.
And, it's just like anything else, just like Marsha says, that this can completely happen, just from intentional action. Mm-hmm. So you can completely transform everything with the words that you use and how you use them. And subconsciously and consciously, as Marsha has highlighted. So it's just like anything, any learned skill, it just takes practice and takes time, just like Marsha said. So do you guys have any shares or takeaways, any questions that you want to either throw it in the chat, or you can go bottom left on your screen, unmute yourself. And if you have, then go ahead, open it up. Peggy, what did you just say?
Yeah. I am going to stop the recording though for the questions. Do you want me to do
Yes,
that?
please. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So I'm just going to stop the recording.